All right, folks. Well, it looks like we're it looks like we're here. Welcome to the rundown. This is the Hump Day edition of the rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the left coast. We apologize for the premature starts. That would basically be my fault. But we appreciate you guys hanging with us anyway. Now, as you know, though, I do not do this program by myself.
No, I like to help out when I can. And again, it was just a weird start. Computer glitches and gremlins running amok, folks. So we were dumbfounded, and it's great to be here. I am Mike Borski, your co-host from the East Coast, the coast with the most. It's great to see you.
It is great to be seen. Dude, I really was hoping that we would be here today talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. I really was kind of not really prepared to talk about a whole lot else.
I am checking our volumes and everything now. Craig, let me give people an intro to this. If you'll check over in the Facebook and listen to what our audio sounds like, tell me what you think. So let me get started talking about Rittenhouse, because like Craig said, we really did want to listen. I think the whole nation is. We're ready to get this over and ready to move on with this Kyle Rittenhouse. There's been a couple of let's see, since the last time we talked to you yesterday, we didn't know. We were 1 or 2 hours away from deliberations and away from the media, so Craig and I didn't have the update for you at 5:00 yesterday.
Yeah.
Today, yes, sir.
Oh no, I was gonna say your voice sounds silky smooth. It's that radio voice that we've all come to know and love.
Gotcha. Okay.
And vomit too.
Want to let everybody have the opportunity to check. That's all. And then today we have. I guess they've been deliberating. What time is it? It's just after 5 on the East Coast. I think they started about 10 this morning, East Coast time. So they've been in there, 7 hours minus lunch. They asked to see some more videos. There was some back and forth between defense and prosecution over how many times to let them see the videos and in what format and in what venue. So they're trying to, they figured that out. It was interesting, Craig. Did you get to see the judge talk about the media coverage and some of the things that have been said in the media?
I did get a chance, and it's kind of weird because he's like, I've worked with some of these people. It sounds like he wasn't very happy with kind of the way in which some of the prosecution has been portrayed in some of the media.
Yes.
But then again, nobody said anything about them in the media that, quite frankly, they didn't do to themselves. I mean, they pretty much earned most of the stuff that I've heard about them in the main. Well, let me clarify. In the mainstream media, they're really not even barely telling the truth. But in conservative media, I've noticed that, they are very critical of them, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and the judge went over, and he was I think being polite. He said he'd worked with all 5 of these attorneys before, and they were all professional. I think that's correct. He didn't say that, but these 2 over here are morons, and have really screwed the case. He was being polite. He did talk about the media coverage and how can the media, they're not here in the courtroom. They don't know what's going on. Even the prosecution agreed with that. Yeah, nobody knows what's going on except those in the courtroom all day. He talked about Rittenhouse pulling the numbers out of the lottery, out of the tumbler bin, and the reason and the origin of that. So kind of like the judge, maybe he doesn't, retweet or reply to tweets, but this is his method of responding to social media. And I think it worked. If you're going to be covered by the media all day long, this was the judge's venue for speaking back to those that are watching on, court TV and whoever else is covering it. So I didn't really have an issue with that. It seemed easy enough. I mean, listen, it's communication, right? Message received, message delivered. That's what you got. So I was a little concerned about the items they were asking for back from the jury. The jury was asking for a couple of the videos.
Right.
In particular, I think they wanted to see the drone video, right?
Right, which by the way is at the heart of one of the motion to basically throw out the trial. So he wasn't very happy with them wanting to see it again.
Yes, yeah. So there's that aspect of it. To me, it almost seems. I thought, wow, digging into those, they're having a difficult time with the self defense argument for a couple of the jurors. That might indicate that they would end up, looking in more of a conviction. But then I realized, I think it's more of, if let's say there's two holdouts in the jury, and that's behind the scenes rumor, is that there's two holdouts on the jury. This
Mm-hmm.
could be the other jurors bringing that information back in to say, look again, because that's not what the rest of us see. That's not what
Right.
the other 10 of us see.
It is. I honestly believe, and I won't say which direction I believe that is going, but I definitely believe that it is one individual. It is one group encouraging or trying to move the other group to where they are. A majority
Yes.
group trying to move the minority. And if you're actually asking for evidence, like the video, like the definition of self-defense,
Yes.
I'm believing that the majority of the folks are going towards not guilty, and there's a minority of folks who are pushing for guilty. That's just, once again, I'm no legal beagle, but I've watched my fair share of Law and Order,
Yep.
and that's the way I synced it.
Depraved indifference, McCoy. Depraved indifference. Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking, scanning down right now, just trying to see if anything's popping up. They got the minute by minute posts, and there's nothing in the past 36 minutes. Again, it was the jury just reviewing the drone footage of the shooting during
Yeah.
day 2 of deliberation. So that's the last of it here. It it's good. Craig, I had a number of conversations yesterday and today, and I argued that this case should have been moved to somewhere else in the state of Wisconsin. Whether that be up north or across state, whatever it happens to be. I do not feel as though the jury. Most of the times, you move a case because the jury pool has been tainted. It's been so well covered in the town or the city that it happened in that there's no way you're going to get a juror that hasn't already made up their minds as a citizen. I think that juries and cases should be able to move when you have something that is so volatile to the community as rocks, bottles, and riots. That's where this all started, right? That they should be able to move it to a different part of the state. And the reason, because the jurors that are sitting there right now, if you don't think that in the back of their mind they're saying, well, if we convict them, then our town and our city right here will be torn down again, and we'll have fires, then you're kidding yourself. That's got to be in the back of their minds, that they could themselves become victims, or their towns could become victims again if the conviction goes the opposite way of the mob. So I believe that they should be able to move this trial to a different part of the state, or at a minimum, select a jury in a different part of the state and bring them down and make them a guest of the court for the couple of weeks that they're there.
Well, Mike, what's interesting that you say that, because a lot of people may not realize this, but there are currently Black Lives Matter protesters who are outside the courtroom, who are basically yelling that if they don't get what they want, they're going to shut it down. Basically meaning they're going to riot, they're going to burn the city again. There's a reason why the governor has put on call 500 National Guard troops in order to quell that. And you even have the father of Jacob Blake, the individual, the guy who got the guy who. Well, let me clarify. The guy who tried to stab an officer and got shot. Yeah, that guy. His dad is calling the governor a coward for calling out the National Guard troops in order to prevent a riot. And my whole thing is, if you had done that over a year ago, before this would have ever happened, maybe we wouldn't be in this particular situation. I mean, they're literally fomenting violence. They're asking for violence.
Yeah.
And the problem is that if they keep asking for it, they're probably going to wind up getting it.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's the concern, is that bring in a different jury or send the trial to a different part of the state. That way, the jurors cannot be tainted by there's going to be a riot. I mean, really, if those jurors are in there now hearing that, you don't think they're worried about getting found out where they are and who they are and getting their houses burned down? You know?
Oh yeah. Well, exactly. Well, well, now, having said that, let's talk a little bit, because this isn't the only trial that's going on here. There's also another trial that's taken place, and that's the Ahmaud Arbery murder trial that's taking place. Now, Mike, this is an interesting one, and I don't know if you've been following it. I had not been following it too much, but today I had a chance to watch the testimony of the guy who was the actual shooter, the guy who actually shot the guy. This is going to be a very different case compared to the other one, largely in that these three men pursued this individual. The argument is being made that they basically kind of trapped him in or cornered him in and forced him into a situation because they were armed and he pulled a gun on him. He pulled a shotgun on him. The argument by the prosecution is they forced him to defend himself. And in the process of defending himself, he got shot. The shooter is basically arguing, well, look, we followed him to this particular point. There were several times where we confronted him, but we never cornered him in or boxed him in, and the only reason he got shot was because he approached us and then grabbed the gun. I'm having a hard time believing that they're going to be able to get away with. I don't know that they're going to be charged with first-degree murder. I doubt that, but they're definitely not going to get away with self-defense. There's an argument, but it's an arguable argument as opposed to what we see in the Rittenhouse case.
Craig, I've got a comment, and I know we're not normally comments on Wednesdays. Normally we only take them on Fridays. But the comment is, your microphone is peaking. If you could turn the gain down a little.
I can do that.
So it's little industry friend who's listening along today or watching along today. Craig, I really
am at my peak, by the way, bro. Just so you know, it ain't the microphone; it's just me.
It's just you. There you go.
I'm just peaking.
Too much coffee. That'll happen. I have not really been watching the Ahmaud Arbery case, only because the Rittenhouse case started first, and I've jumped into that one, full steam, watching and listening to as many as I can. In fact, I've actually got the phone set up on the dash so I can watch it while I'm sitting in traffic and not moving, not while I'm driving, because that would be bad and illegal. So just to have a little video reference there. I have watched a little bit over the last day or two, like you said, because since the Rittenhouse case has been in deliberations, we have had some more free time, and I did see some of the officers testify, and I didn't get to see Travis McMichael testify today. But what I did see was the officers via the defense. The story was told that Arbery, they were looking for him. The police were actively looking for him for a minimum of trespassing on the construction sites or trespassing in these homes. Now, in Georgia, I'm not sure what the crime is there or what the law is there. I know in Florida, if you trespass in a construction site, then that's a felony. So I don't know if it's the same up there in Georgia or not. I know the police were looking to talk to him about some of the burglaries and the trespasses. I know that the neighborhood was made aware of that. The police had let the neighbors know, including these McMichaels, that they were looking for him. So I don't know. This case appears now, and just like you and I have always said, now that the facts are being released, it always appears a little bit different than the media portrays it. Because what I'm seeing now is the cops basically had these neighbors on alert looking for this guy.
Well, so once again, the question is not whether or not they were looking for him, and I think that's the key. That's part of it. The key is, did they pursue him in an aggressive manner? Because if they pursued him, if they were pursuing him, if they were pursuing him, they could be seen. The question is, were they the aggressors? Who was the aggressor in this particular case? If they were the aggressors, then they cannot claim self-defense. And as we're finding out from the Rittenhouse case, who's the aggressor can change. And that's what I'm saying. So in this particular case, it's really going to come down to who do you believe? Do you believe the individual who shot the guy, or do you believe the case that the prosecution is trying to make that they were in fact the aggressors?
And I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that's the case the defense is making. I believe the case the defense is making is that they did go after and pursue him because the police had charged them with his capture. They basically said, we want him to trespass him. We want him to question him about these crimes. And we are letting you citizens know so you can help us. And the police also, during that time frame, remember, talked with a number of homeowners that were armed with their own firearms. And the police said, oh, I see you're lawfully carrying. Wink, wink. I mean,
well, I would put it to you this way:
they were deputized, Greg.
If that is what in fact law enforcement did, then someone's going to be in some trouble. I'm just going to tell you right now, someone there in law enforcement is going to be in trouble. But I'm just going to be real with you. If I'm in the South, right? I'm in the South. If I'm being chased by some people of a lighter persuasion in a pickup truck with shotguns, and especially, particularly if I'm in the South, I'm going to assume that I might be the potential victim of a lynching. I can't say that, and once again, if I've done absolutely nothing wrong, I can't say that what I saw, what this guy dealt with, his belief that he was in danger was unreasonable. I'm just saying.
We used to call them militia.
Militia.
The militia are the ones that would declare themselves, as part of a occupying force and all that. Well, the militia would be the ones that would say, well, I was trying to help the police. They were the militia.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you'll always put yourself in a dangerous legal situation, period, but also a dangerous legal situation when you decide that you're going to engage in law enforcement actions. It's one thing to, and here's the thing. The reason why I know that they're trying to draw this distinction is he's trying to make it very clear. Travis was trying to make it very clear. I was not pursuing him. I pursued him to a point. I stopped in a position, in a place where I had a very good view of everything, and I did not pursue him. In fact, he then came at me. And that's how I know that him and his lawyer have had the conversation about whether or not what he did constitutes the shooting constitutes self-defense.
Sure. I still think the police getting them to help look for him gives him the authority to go out there in the road and get in that good position, Craig. So I think there's a lot of, I'm not going to say that the cops deputized him and made him do it, but the cops flooded that neighborhood with flyers and said, this is the guy and he might be armed, so be sure you take care of yourselves.
Well, and I think if they believe his argument that, look, I did not pursue this guy, I literally just parked my truck right here so that I could be in a position to alert police as to where he went, and then he came after me. If they believe that, if the jury believes that, he's probably gonna get off. If they don't believe it and they believe that he in fact pursued and was the aggressor, him and his dad, then he'll probably be found guilty. I'm just saying, I don't know, because you have to decide whether or not you trust what he's telling you or not.
Just that particular fact, I think it's got some similarities with the Zimmerman case, if you recall, because Did Zimmerman follow him? Again, that's still up in the air, but we know Zimmerman did not leave when he had the opportunity. Well, guess what? There was no duty for him to leave. So I think that's a very similar point to this. Did McMichaels leave when the guy turned around? No, there is no duty for him to leave, So
right, but once again, you're right. No, there was not a duty for him to leave, but the other difference is that Zimmerman was then attacked, and physically, obviously attacked. There's evidence of the attack. There's someone who witnessed the attack. The other thing was Zimmerman did not brandish or did not display a firearm. He didn't draw a firearm on him until after he was attacked. I'm just saying.
I said that I was only going after that one fact, Craig, not the
Yeah.
rest of it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have no disagreement
Yeah.
with that. I'm just saying that one fact in particular about the duty to leave. That's all I
Yes.
said.
No. You are 100% correct. He had absolutely no duty. He absolutely did not have a duty to retreat or leave or anything like that. You are
Right.
100% correct. I'm just concerned because that's a case that, in many people's eyes, seems clear cut. And from what I heard in the defense argument today, I didn't see the cross examination. It sounds it's not as clear cut as it sounded.
Yeah, and I think, like I
point.
said, watch the defense's closing arguments. It's going to be laden with the
Yeah.
police instructed them to do this.
Right.
The police, recruited their help. You're going to get that kind of stuff in there. All right,
Yeah,
let's roll along. I hope to follow some more of that trial as it becomes available. So that's just
All right.
my partial opinion of what I saw so far. So thank
All
you
right.
for tracking that one for us. Let's go. Let's talk about the next one.
Oh, let's talk about the normalization of pedophilia. Right? Okay, so at Old Dominion, there is a professor, transgendered professor. I'm assuming, based on what the professor looks like, it is a female to male transgendered professor who is trying to normalize, or did as a part of a lecture, a part of a book that they wrote, to normalize pedophilia, and they use the term MAP.
Minor
Attracted to
persons.
Yes, minor attracted person. That was it. I was trying. Sorry, but they wanted to use the term minor attracted person. And Dartmouth has actually come out and they've kind of put the person on suspension. I just, Mike, and it's now in his defense, he says he's not advocating for the sexual abuse of minors. But just that if someone is attracted to a minor, that they are not necessarily pedophiles, sex offenders. They're not exactly sex offenders or deviant. Now, I'll say this: if they haven't acted on it, then technically they are not a sex offender. But I think they do qualify as deviant, right?
Listen, unless they've acted on it, I don't know that they have deviant thoughts. The first thing that my brain comes to, Craig, are people that are in AA or NA and they want to have illicit drugs or they want to drink alcohol and do things, but they don't do it. So they have the thoughts, but they control the thoughts. They've done the counseling and the treatment, and they don't. Does that make them a current, deviant if they want to go do weird things with drugs? Not if they want to. If they do, perhaps. Is this definitely deviant thinking, deviant thoughts? Well, absolutely. First off, I don't want anybody to think that anybody that drinks or uses illegal drugs, I was calling them a deviant. I'm just trying to think of some sort of mental equivalent with the desire to do something as opposed to the actual performance of that desire.
So you're saying that drinking alcohol is not deviant?
No, not.
I am glad to hear that.
Not
look over your shoulder.
No, listen. Alcohol is not, unless of course you desire to give the alcohol to the minor, right?
Okay, that is deviant.
Do deviant things to them, then that would be wrong. But if your desire would be to, I don't know, drink and go commit crimes, I think that would be deviant.
Yes, sir.
But what I'm saying is, I think if you have the thoughts, wrong, sinful, probably all of that, but it doesn't make you the deviant. Now, if you've done it before, if you've done it once in your life, and you continue to have the thoughts, that's just deviant. Okay, that's deviant all around. But what I'm trying to say is, I think people could have a bad thought and then say, "Wait a second, no, that's what the hell am I thinking of?" I'm not doing that.
I'll also say that there's got to be a way to get these individuals help that they need.
Listen, for this this transgender person, this is nothing against transgender people.
Mm-hmm.
This, I don't care if you're who you are. If you decide that you want to soften the term pedophilia to minor attracted persons, well, then you what did Jeff Foxworthy say? You might be a deviant,
Right. Right.
So this Alan Walker, however,
right.
this gendered well, the gender neutral, I think, is what this person called themselves.
Non-binary
And,
or gender neutral.
You called it a she. I thought it was a he. So either
Well,
way,
I said they and he.
Oh, I won't
because it's got a masculine name. So
they're a he or a she. I'm with Dave Chappelle on this. They're a he or a she. That's all there is to it.
Right.
You know, if you're going to start stacking up deviant behaviors, might be time to put old Alan away somewhere. You know,
yeah.
It's just.
Well, Alan definitely got put out of the classroom. So
yeah, and this was at Old Dominion University. I think you said Dartmouth at one point. It was Old Dominion University.
Oh, it's Dartmouth. My fault. Yeah, I heard wrong earlier. Well, here's
one of my favorite towns, Norfolk, Virginia.
Here's the thing that I will tell you, and I know this: if you normalize something, you will have more of it. If you normalize drug use, you will have more of it. If you normalize riots and violence and looting, you will have more of it. If you normalize, whatever it is, if you normalize it, you will have more of it. And in this particular case, that's the issue. Is I'm sorry, but if we start normalizing the idea of grown adults seeking to have sexual relations with minors who do not have the mental capacity to be able to understand exactly what is going on, then I'm sorry, we're going to have more of it. And so therefore we cannot normalize it.
Yeah. Look, I think I said gender neutral. Alan here identifies as non-binary. So
right.
Sorry, go away somewhere else.
Go away. Go find a binary.
Yeah, go find a nice piece of cardboard under a bridge somewhere and live your life out.
Exactly. Okay, moving right along. Joy Reid, you know how much we love Joy Reid here on the program. So Joy Reid has utterly lost her mind. She is so mad at voters, at people, because, well, her friend, her man, is not getting good poll numbers. We're talking about Joe Biden. She, in essence, has said that, well, people got their stimulus checks and they must have spent all their money, and so they're still not happy. So basically, she's saying that, well, we're all ungrateful voters, people who voted for Joe Biden, and now that he's given us our stimulus money and we done spent it, well, then we're not necessarily grateful. And I don't think she understands what being president means and how these polls are supposed to work. It means they think he's doing a sucky job.
Poor Joy Reid. Wait until she sees Kamala's ratings. I'm just saying.
Well,
because they are much worse. That's gonna drive her over the edge when she sees those.
Well, I don't know that and once again, I haven't seen this before, but I don't know that a vice president has ever had a disapproval rating of 51%. Now, keep in mind, Mike, your main job as vice president is to get up in the morning and look at the newspaper, find out if the president is still alive.
That's right.
That's your primary job. That, and in her particular case, she breaks ties in the Senate.
She has the same duties and responsibilities as the people that live in Madagascar, Craig. Because the people in Madagascar, you know what they do in the morning? They wake up and they look to the west and they say, "Yep, Africa's still there. We're good to go." That's all they have to do. That's all they have to do.
But it's I just, it is hilarious to me. I don't understand how they even pretend to be a news network. And she is just beyond a joke.
Quick little update from the Rittenhouse trial. The jurors have just left the courtroom after viewing the drone footage. So they were in there for roughly 45 minutes viewing some footage. So they are back to the deliberations.
I'm just really curious. Once again, I got to believe there's one or two that are holding out, that are like...
I think you're right. I think they're doing this. I think the jury is doing this to try and convince the two holdouts to do it, because it does not sound like they're willing to make a deal with this kid's freedom. So
no, because you can't. And quite frankly, the lesser charges is a clear sign that the fact that they... And I don't even know why at this point the judge allowed the lesser charges. Because at this point, it's clear and obvious that they know they failed. I don't understand. Anyway,
Yep.
I am dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded with these folks. But I guess that's nothing new. One last story that I want to hit on today. There was a teacher. There was a teacher who, she came down with COVID there in Florida, and she went to the hospital, and her husband wanted her to be given ivermectin as a part of a number of different treatments. I guess they had given her Remdesivir and a couple of other things, but he wanted to give her given ivermectin, and the teacher wound up dying. Now, I don't understand what this hesitation is. If someone says, look, I want a particular type of treatment, and it's not an expensive treatment, it's not something that is going to do harm to them if you give it to them, why wouldn't you? Especially when there are documented cases where it's helped. I'm not guaranteeing that it would have happened it would have helped in this case.
It's easy. Listen, it's easy to understand. It's lawyers. It's liability. It's loss of privileges. It's doctors getting fired. I'll tell you this, folks, and this is what you need to remember. That doctor was not the only. That hospital is not the only hospital. You get your butt up and you walk out against medical advice. Let them write it in your chart like it's going on your permanent record in middle school. Who cares? It's a life you're talking about. Why they were fighting about this in court, I have no idea. You get her butt up, you put her in a wheelchair, you take her to your car, drive her to the next county where they go, hell yeah, we do ivermectin here, and you're done. All right. Doctors are not gods, they are people. You don't agree with them. Go find somebody else until you're either convinced the first doctor was right or the second doctor's right.
Well, I think in this case, by the time they went to use the ivermectin, she was already in ICU. I mean, she was already in intensive care. She was already. Get yourself
a private ambulance and get them to the next one.
Right. Here's the thing, folks, and it just so you know, any of these treatments that are out there are most effective when given early. When as soon as you know you have it.
Yeah.
Don't wait until your numbers go down. Yeah. Go get one of these treatments, and if the doctor that you have says no, go get yourself a doctor who will say yes. Don't wait. Whatever. Once again, once you've done your research and you've decided this is the direction you want to go, don't wait until your oxygen numbers are below 91, 92. Do it early. Do it as soon as possible. Don't wait, because in the end, just like Mike said, they're thinking, I got to protect myself. Lawyer. That, quite frankly, and I hate to say this, for many is secondary to your health and your well-being.
Yeah.
Sad, but it is true. Yeah. Just don't wait. Once you know, go get what you need.
I know we're running late. I'm going to give you a 30-second story, if that. I had a person the other day talking to me about vaccines and everything. And Craig, you and I have been 100% clear on this. We are not pro-vaccine. We're not anti-vaccine. We are pro-government telling me what to do.
Anti-government telling me what to do.
Right. Thank you. If you choose to get it, great. Yeah, you know where I was. And thank you for correcting me, though. But somebody else was telling me in a story the other day that they had the COVID and their blood ox was down 40, and they had a rough time. And I was like, 40, huh? Oh, okay, good. I have to go now. Thank you. I have to go clean the poo poo off my boots.
40.
40's dead, folks. 40's dead. 40
yes. 40 is dead. They were lying. Maybe 84.
Yeah.
If your pulse ox is at 40, you are dead.
Yeah. The decaying plants have a higher oxygen rate than that.
You are actually. So I know people who've gotten these little oximeters, right? That you can just put on your finger. They're not expensive at all.
No.
But they're a good thing to have in the era of COVID. You can track your oxygen. If your oxygen hits 95, goes down to 95, that's probably a good time to call your doctor and say, hey, it's heading down. If it gets to because they say if it gets to 91, 92, you should be in the emergency room. That's why I know if you're at 40, you should probably be in the morgue.
Okay, another quick story. I had to get a COVID test to travel. All right, did some traveling a few months back. Right, you and I traveled at the same time.
Right.
Where I drive in my car, the air conditioner blows on my right hand. It blows on my right hand. Okay, what happens when you put cold air onto the fingertips is you get a little bit of. It's almost like a frostbite effect. There's less oxygen flow, and the rebound in the fingertips of the blood flowing to the fingertips is going to be a little bit less. Okay. But the kind of thing where you do this for 30 seconds and it's all back to normal. All right.
Right.
I went in there and not even thinking about it, she put the pulse ox on my hand to see if I had it. That was the first indicator. And my fingers came back at like 93 and 94 rather than 97, 98.
Right.
She goes, hold on, that's not good. Let me check. She does the other one. I went, oh, hold on a second. They just need a little more air in them. And I went, and then give them back to her, put it on there, and they were 97, 98 because I just warmed them up for a moment. And she's looking at me like, what in the... Like I blew oxygen under my fingernails or something like that. But I was just having fun with the nurse.
Oh, that is... Did you ever tell her what really happened?
Nope. Nope. You know, it was getting the negative test result was a ridiculous exercise, so I left her feeling dumbfounded. Don't care.
Okay. That was a good story. All right, let's move on to our parting shot. Oh, you guys are gonna love this one. So we all know we've had these conversations. So we know that there are people out there right now who are saying if they don't get the verdict that they want, there's going to be a riot, and we all know the governor is expecting there to be issues. Well, someone tweeted out.
Wait! Before you show it, update. Jury concludes second day of deliberations. Will resume tomorrow. Okay. Now you can show it.
All right, now we know. So here we go. Yeah, Kenosha will burn if he is acquitted, and rightly so. It's all good. We'll just send Kyle back out. Oh my! It's funny. I gotta tell you. Once again, it's even my brother. Now you've never met my brother, but if you've seen him in my comment threads and Facebook. He's a liberal. Even he has to wonder. So why is Black Lives Matter protesting out in front of a trial of a white guy who shot 3 white guys?
Yeah, listen, we got so much more to get into on this story. We're
gonna have to do one of which you just dropped a bunch of N-bombs.
There's the McCloskey part of this now, which we have to talk about tomorrow. So it's going to be good stuff. Okay,
we are going to have to talk about that. Yeah. Hey, John Dillinger, thank you for tuning in over there on the YouTubes. Very much appreciate you, sir. Encourage your friends. To come back out and watch. We're on every day, every weekday around this time. And we do so largely to support our sponsors, which Mike is going to tell you real quick about.
That's right. Real quick, Guerrilla Machining, Grid Defense, and the California Republican Assembly. All great partners. Make sure you reach out and support them.
Yes, their links are in the description of this video. So if you can't say you can't find them because they're right there, visit them and let them know that Craig and Mike over at The Rundown sent you. In any case,
we said, duh.
Well, that's going to be it for today's program. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing and encouraging your friends to do the same. Tomorrow will be Thirsty Thursday. Later.